Sit closer to me now, because the air has changed, and I know you can feel it in your bones, even if you cannot yet find the words to describe the heaviness that has settled in your chest. We have crossed the threshold of the 27th, and now find ourselves navigating the deep and mysterious waters of November 28th and 29th, which are not merely days on a calendar, but the first true breaths of a new life you have been gestating in the dark for months. The universe does not shout, it whispers, and right now it is whispering directly to your soul, my intense and powerful Scorpio, because the portal that opened yesterday was not a door that closes behind you, it was a bridge, and you are currently standing right in the middle of it, looking down into the abyss of what you used to be, and looking forward into the blinding light of who you are becoming. The energies of these 48 hours are thick and viscous like honey, and for you specifically, they carry a weight that other signs might not understand, because while the rest of the world is simply going about their Friday and Saturday, wondering why they feel so tired, or why their dreams were so strange, you know that something fundamental has shifted in the architecture of your reality. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is the map for navigating this new terrain, where the ground is still shifting beneath your feet. And in the comments write, I am ready to embrace the power of my own shadow and walk into the light of my truth. You see, the universe has been preparing you for this exact moment through every tear you cried in silence, and every betrayal you survived, and every moment you had to rebuild yourself from the ashes of your own destruction, because that is your nature, and that is your gift. But this time, it is different. The great water trine that is currently active in the sky is singing a song that is composed specifically for your spirit, because you are a creature of the water. And this alignment between Venus in your own sign of Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, and Saturn in Pisces is creating a closed circuit of emotional power that is almost overwhelming in its intensity. You might wake up on the morning of the 28th feeling a pressure in your temples or a tingling in your hands, especially in the center of your palms. And do not be afraid of this sensation, because it is simply your energetic body coming online to handle the voltage that is now running through your system. Venus is currently traveling through your sign, and she is not alone. She is walking arm in arm with Lilith, the Black Moon, and this is the secret ingredient that no one is talking about, but it is the most important factor for you right now. Lilith represents the part of you that refuses to be tamed, the part of you that knows exactly what it wants and is not afraid to demand it. And having this conjunction happening right now in your own sign during these critical 48 hours means that your ability to attract and manifest is at an all-time high, but it also means that your tolerance for anything fake or superficial has dropped to zero. You might find yourself looking at people you have known for years and realizing that you can no longer pretend to be small just to make them feel comfortable. This is the energy of the 28th, pushing you to shed the final layers of skin that have become too tight for the expanding soul within you. Saturn has stationed direct in Pisces, and for you this is happening in a sector of your chart that governs your creativity, your joy, and your inner child, which means the universe is asking you to take your deepest passions seriously. This is not the time to treat your dreams as hobbies or side projects, because Saturn is the planet of tangible reality, and he is demanding that you build a structure for your joy. On this day of the 28th, the energy is about integration and internalizing the massive download of cosmic data that occurred when the portal opened. So do not force yourself to be busy or productive in the way the world expects, because your work right now is internal, and it is heavy lifting of the spirit. You are building the emotional infrastructure that will support you all the way through 2026, and you cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, which is why you might feel old memories resurfacing today, memories you thought you had dealt with years ago. Do not push them away, because they are not coming back to haunt you. They are coming back to be released once and for all, so that you can walk through this portal without any extra baggage. The water element is dominant right now, and as a Scorpio, you are the master of these depths. So while others might feel like they are drowning in their emotions, you must learn to breathe underwater and use this pressure to propel you upward. The connection between Venus and Lilith in your sign is making you incredibly magnetic right now. So be very careful what you focus on during these 2 days, because your thoughts are shaping reality faster than usual. If you focus on fear, you will attract reasons to be afraid. But if you focus on your own power and your own worthiness, you will attract circumstances that confirm your greatness. On the 29th, as we move deeper into this energy, the focus shifts slightly from feeling to doing, because Saturn requires action. You cannot simply sit on your meditation cushion and hope for your life to change. You must take a step in the physical world that signals to the universe that you are serious about this new timeline you have chosen. This does not mean you have to run a marathon or quit your job tomorrow, but it means you must do something concrete that anchors your intention into the soil of reality. Perhaps it is sending that email you have been afraid to write, or maybe it is finally throwing away the box of things from an ex-lover that you keep under your bed, or maybe it is simply saying no to an obligation that drains your energy. Whatever it is, do it on the 29th with the full conviction of your being, because Saturn is watching, and he rewards those who show up for themselves. The grand water trine is facilitating a healing of your heart that you didn't even know you needed, because Jupiter in Cancer is expanding your capacity to feel safe and nurtured, while Saturn in Pisces is dissolving the walls you built around your heart to protect yourself from pain. You have spent so much of your life anticipating betrayal and preparing for the worst, but the universe is asking you now to lay down your weapons and trust that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes without needing to be constantly on guard. This is the hardest lesson for a Scorpio to learn, but it is the gateway to the abundance you seek. During these 48 hours, pay close attention to your dreams, especially in the hours between 2 and 4 in the morning, because the veil between the worlds is thinner than it has ever been, and your ancestors and guides are trying to communicate with you through symbols and feelings. If you wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, do not reach for your phone. Instead, lie still in the darkness and ask what message is trying to come through, because the answer you receive in that silence might just be the key to the lock you have been trying to open for years. You might feel a strange heat in your body or a vibration in your spine, and this is the Kundalini energy stirring in response to the cosmic alignment, because you are transforming at a cellular level. The old version of you is dying, and the new version is struggling to take its first breath, and this process is messy and beautiful and terrifying all at once. The specific degree where Saturn has stationed direct carries a symbol of purification, and for you this purification is happening in your desires. You are realizing that many of the things you thought you wanted were actually things you were told to want by society or your family. or your wounded ego. Now that the fog is clearing on the 28th and 29th, you are beginning to see what your soul actually craves. And it might look very different from the life you are currently living. This realization can be scary because it implies change, and change is always uncomfortable, but remember that you are the sign of transformation, and you have died 1,000 deaths and been reborn 1,000 times. So do not fear this transition. The presence of Lilith next to Venus in your sign is giving you permission to be raw and real. And if that makes people uncomfortable, let them be uncomfortable, because you are done shrinking yourself to fit into rooms that are too small for your spirit. This energy is feral and ancient, and it demands that you honor your instincts above all else. If something feels off, trust that feeling immediately without needing logical proof, because your intuition during these 2 days is operating at a superhuman level. You are a human lie detector right now, and you will be able to see through people's masks with frightening clarity. So use this power wisely, not to hurt others, but to protect your own energy and align yourself with those who are truly authentic. The 29th creates a bridge to the future, and as the moon moves through the zodiac, it triggers these points of power, activating the promise of the portal. You are not just manifesting a new job or a new relationship, you are manifesting a new identity, and this requires you to be ruthless with your own limitations. Ask yourself honestly, what story am I still telling myself that keeps me small? And then look that story in the eye and rewrite it. The universe is handing you the pen, and the paper is blank, and the ink is your own willpower. The connection to the element of water means that your emotions are the fuel for this vehicle, so do not try to suppress what you are feeling, even if it is anger or grief or longing. Let it flow through you like a river, and watch as it cleanses the debris from your channel, leaving you clear and open to receive. Saturn in Pisces is teaching you that true strength is not rigidity, but fluidity and the ability to adapt without losing your core essence. You are learning to be like water, soft enough to slip through fingers, but powerful enough to carve canyons through stone over time. This is the mastery you are stepping into on these days of November 28th and 29th. Do not underestimate the power of your attention right now, because where you look is where the energy goes. If you look at your lack, you will create more holes in your bucket. But if you look at the abundance of possibilities that are swirling around you like autumn leaves, you will catch them in your hands. The specific alchemy of Venus and Saturn interacting with your sun sign is helping you to crystallize your vision and turn your fantasies into blueprints. You are the architect of your destiny, and the tools are finally in your hands, but you must be willing to get your hands dirty. The work is not glamorous. It is the daily practice of choosing yourself over and over again, even when it is hard. It is the discipline of catching your negative thoughts and redirecting them towards the outcome you desire. It is the courage to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. The portal is open, and the wind is at your back, and the stars are aligned in your favor, so do not waste this moment by doubting your own magic. You have been the magician all along, waiting for the right time to reveal your trick, and the time is now. As the hours of the 28th pass into the 29th, you will feel a settling of the energy, a kind of grounding that allows you to take a deep breath and look around at your life with new eyes. Things that used to bother you will seem insignificant, and things you used to ignore will suddenly seem vital. This shift in perspective is the first sign that the timeline jump has been successful. You are no longer vibrating at the frequency of your past problems. You are vibrating at the frequency of your future solutions. Embrace this shift and walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are supported by the entire universe. The shadows are not there to scare you. They are there to add depth to your picture, and without them the light would have no meaning. You are learning to love the whole of yourself, the messy parts, the broken parts, the brilliant parts, and the terrified parts. This radical self-acceptance is the key that unlocks the door to the next level of your evolution. So as you move through these days, keep your heart open and your feet on the ground and your eyes on the horizon. The great wheel of the cosmos has turned, and you have turned with it, and nothing will ever be quite the same again. This is not a warning, it is a promise. The heavy water of Pisces combined with the fixed intensity of your Scorpio nature creates a steam that can power engines or fog up mirrors, and the choice of how to use this energy is yours alone. Choose clarity, choose power, choose love, and remember that the universe does not make mistakes, and it did not make a mistake when it created you exactly as you are. The timing is perfect, and you are right where you need to be. These 48 hours are a gift wrapped in mystery and delivered to your doorstep by the hands of fate itself. Open it slowly. Savor the anticipation. For inside this moment lies the seed of everything you have ever asked for. As we drift further into the currents of the 28th and approach the dawn of the 29th, the waters do not recede, but rather they deepen, and you must understand that this depth is your natural habitat, because while others fear the pressure of the deep ocean, you were born to thrive in it. The alliance between the Moon and Saturn in Pisces is currently rewriting the contract of your emotional reality, and this is not a metaphor. It is a literal restructuring of how you process the world around you. You might find that on these days the noise of the outside world feels unbearable, and this is because your sensitivity is tuned to a frequency so high that normal interactions feel like static interference. This is why the universe is encouraging you to embrace the solitude of the 28th, not as an escape, but as a strategic retreat into your own power center. Within the silence of this Friday and the grounding energy of Saturday the 29th lies the second type of manifestation that this portal offers, which is emotional architecture. You are not just building a life, you are building a sanctuary inside your own ribcage, where your spirit can rest without fear of invasion. The conjunction of Venus and Lilith in your sign is still vibrating with a fierce intensity, and it is bringing up questions about your worth that you thought you had answered long ago. But now they are back with a demand for a final verdict. Lilith is asking you if you are truly willing to be the villain in someone else's story in order to be the hero in your own. Because sometimes reclaiming your power means disappointing people who benefited from your silence. This energy is palpable during these 48 hours, and you might feel a sudden urge to cut cords with situationships or friendships that feel draining, because your tolerance for energy vampires has completely evaporated. Do not judge yourself for this ruthlessness, because it is actually a form of supreme self-love. The universe is clearing the deck, because what is coming in 2026 requires you to travel light, and you cannot carry dead weight into the fire of Aries that awaits on the horizon. As the moon glides through the mystic waters of Pisces on the 29th, it forms a harmonious angle to the planets in your sign, creating a bridge between your subconscious knowing and your conscious actions. This is the moment to trust the hunch that makes no logical sense, because your logic is limited, but your intuition is infinite. The Sabian symbol for the degree where Saturn has stationed is about a religious organization overcoming corrupting influences. And for you, my intense Scorpio, this means purging the false idols from your life. These false idols are the beliefs that you need to struggle to be worthy, or that love must be painful to be real, or that you must hide your darkness to be accepted. Burn these idols on the altar of the 29th. Let the fire of your truth turn them to ash, because you are ready for a spirituality that is raw and real and unmediated by anyone else's expectations. The physical symptoms might shift as we move through Saturday, transforming from the pressure in the head to a sensation of expansion in the chest, as if your heart is literally physically growing to accommodate more light. This is the activation of the heart chakra, which is being fertilized by the grand water trine, and it is preparing you to receive a level of abundance that would have terrified the old version of you. You see, abundance is not just money, although that is part of it, but true abundance is the capacity to hold joy without waiting for the other shoe to drop. It is the ability to be vulnerable without losing your center. This is the gift of Jupiter in Cancer working with your sign, and on the 29th, you might catch a glimpse of this new state of being, a moment where you feel completely safe in your own skin. Hold on to that feeling, because it is the beacon that will guide you through the rest of the year. The concept of the timeline shift is very active right now, and it means that every choice you make during these 2 days, no matter how small, is selecting a version of the future. When you choose to drink water instead of numbing yourself, you are selecting a timeline of health. When you choose to speak up instead of swallowing your words, you are selecting a timeline of sovereignty. When you choose to rest instead of forcing yourself to work, you are selecting a timeline of peace. Be hyper-conscious of these micro-choices on the 28th and 29th, because the cement is wet and your footprints are setting. The energy of Saturn is not fast. It is deliberate, and it rewards patience. So do not be frustrated if the external results of your internal work are not immediately visible on Saturday. The roots grow deep before the tree grows tall, and right now you are in the root growing phase. You are anchoring the high-frequency energy of the portal into the density of the third dimension, and this takes time, and it takes energy, which is why you might feel exhausted even if you haven't done much physical activity. Respect this fatigue. It is the fatigue of metamorphosis. The caterpillar does not apologize for dissolving into goo before it becomes a butterfly, and you should not apologize for your need to rest and integrate. As we move towards the evening of the 29th, the energy begins to stabilize, and you will feel a renewed sense of purpose, a kind of steely determination that is characteristic of your sign. But this time, it is not driven by fear or revenge. It is driven by a calm knowing of who you are. You are realizing that you do not need to manipulate reality to get what you want. You simply need to align with it. The magnetic power of your aura is stronger than any manipulation tactic, and people will be drawn to you not because you are trying to impress them, but because you are vibrating at a frequency of authenticity that is rare in this world. This is the secret power of the Venus-Lilith conjunction. It makes you irresistible because you are no longer seeking validation. You are the validator. You are the source. Looking ahead, this portal is the prelude to the great shift of 2026, when the nodes and the heavy planets will move into fire and air signs, changing the global atmosphere from emotional and internal to active and external. What you are doing on the 28th and 29th is gathering your resources and sharpening your tools for that future campaign. You are healing the wounds that would have slowed you down, and you are fortifying the walls of your character. So take these days seriously, my child. Do not let them slip by in a haze of distraction. Engage with the energy. Talk to the universe as if it were sitting right next to you, because in a way it is. The veil is so thin that your whispers are shouts in the spirit realm. Manifestation during this window is not about wishing upon a star. It is about commanding your reality with the authority of a creator. Write down your intentions on the 29th, but write them in the present tense as if they have already happened, because to Saturn time is a circle, and the future is just a memory you haven't accessed yet. Feel the reality of your desires in your body. How does it feel to be financially free? How does it feel to be deeply loved? How does it feel to be fulfilling your purpose? Summon these feelings now and let them saturate your cells, because your body is the magnet that draws the experience to you. The skepticism that usually guards your mind is lowering its shields, allowing new possibilities to enter, and this is crucial because you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You need a new mind, and this portal is upgrading your mental software. As the moon continues its journey through the zodiac, it will eventually leave Pisces, but the imprint it leaves on your soul during these 48 hours is permanent. You have walked through the fire, and you have swum through the flood, and you are still here standing tall. That resilience is your greatest asset. The shadow work you are doing now is clearing the mud from the diamond of your soul, so that it can shine with a brilliance that cannot be ignored. Do not be afraid of the intensity. Do not be afraid of the tears. Do not be afraid of the sudden realizations that shatter your old worldview. It is all part of the process of becoming the person you were always meant to be. The universe loves you with a fierceness that matches your own, and it is conspiring in your favor in ways you cannot yet see. Trust the timing of your life. Trust the delays. Trust the closed doors. They are all protecting you and guiding you toward the open gate that is waiting for you. This is the message of the stars for you for these 2 sacred days. Walk with your head high and your heart open. You have done the work. You have paid the price. Now prepare yourself to receive the harvest. The portal is closing, but the path is open. Step forward.